Hey guys, in this video I wanna try to cover what may possibly transpire in the Duviri Paradox, now having played the new war and all. First, I want you guys to realize that the Duviri Paradox isn't going to be 100% the way it was going to be when they first presented it, because a lot of stuff has changed since then. And if you look at the trailer for the new war, things didn't play out exactly like they happened in the trailer. So the Duviri Paradox, things won't happen the same way. So what's likely going to happen, from my speculation, is if you saw my last video where I suggested that whenever we're playing the drifter, the operator gets sent to the void. Whenever we're playing the operator, the drifter gets sent to the void. Right? Following that logic, if it's true, which I truly believe it is, perhaps the Duviri Paradox, the way it's going to start is we get to play as the other us. So instead of how it normally plays out, where you turn into whoever you want to be, and then we are in the ship, in our arbiter, right? And we're walking around and we could go on missions and stuff. Instead of that transpiring, perhaps this time it'll be the flipped way around. So we get to see this perspective of the other person, the person that's not chosen to be on Earth, the person that gets sent to the void. And that may be how the story begins. It really wouldn't make sense if it's the drifter, because the drifter already spent most of their life there, right? So it wouldn't be a difficult task for them to survive, and it wouldn't be a surprise what's going on, or it wouldn't be mesmerizing these new places we go to. It would just be what they're used to. So what I believe is going to transpire is when we pick the drifter, the operator's going to get jerked to the void, right? And then we pick up as them and we're like, whoa, what the hell's going on? Where am I, kind of thing, or damn, I'm here again. And then we have to explore and survive there while we're there. And we find a way off of the 10-0. Maybe we have to get supplies, maybe the ship is malfunctioning or something. And we have to then go to the surface, to the very planes. Experiencing it now for the first time as the operator, it would be a pretty good story. It would be a pretty good entrance to the Duviri Paradox. So what the E was pretty much trying to do with the Duviri Paradox in the first place was basically have the concept of us, the player, dividing into two separate entities. One young, one old. However, this has already transpired. So that can't be what the Duviri Paradox is about. All they can now do is take advantage of the story that's already progressed this far. However, that doesn't mean that they don't have anything to go with. There's actually a lot of story here that they can take advantage of. For instance, the Void is said to have pockets of discarded timelines. So all of the choices we didn't make, those are alternative past that just got thrown away. And before all of them get deleted, or they completely vanish into non-existence, remnants of them do remain in the void. There's ghosts of them, perhaps there's doorways to them. If you was to jump in one of them, it would be extremely dangerous theoretically, because it's basically disintegrating around you. You may disintegrate with it. It may be consumed by specific creatures that exist in the void, like that giant dragon looking thing, as well as many other things that I can't even fathom, because it's a dimension that I'm not from, and therefore there's rules and laws that may not even make sense to our reality, and they just can make it up and put it in there and say this is what happens here, this is how things are, and you know, deal with it. So there can be a lot of surprises in there. For instance, there might be creatures that feed on paradoxes, which would be extremely dangerous to you as the operator or the drifter, which then would make a good story, because we would have these things basically hunting us the entire time we're there, and one of us has to always be there, as far as I'm aware. And like in the trailer, we may not have our warframes, our necromechs, our arcwings. Perhaps they only put this in the trailer in the past to simulate what drifter gameplay would be like, but perhaps they might incorporate this as well in the Duviri Paradox. So the operator can experience what it's like to have lived the drifter's life, that would be a good story. This would also explain the introduction of a horse, because as it stands now, we wouldn't need a mount, right? We have arc wings and necromechs and K drives and warframes moving at extreme speeds. We wouldn't need a horse, but if they take all of that out of the equation, then us running around as the drifter at drifter speed is too slow for open plains. We would need something that moves fast, something four-legged, a horse. I'm fine with it. I like the idea. Now for the writer. This is more tricky. This is like really deep speculation, but what if they are like Dax from the past, sent into the void to explore it and to, you know, to survey the lands and stuff like that, to basically bring back intel, but they got trapped or lost in here, and maybe this is what became of some of them. The reason I'm saying this is because that looks like a Dax warrior to me, so that's why I'm thinking it's a Dax. But these speculations are kind of simple. You probably want something a bit more outside the box, so here's my honest thoughts of what may transpire, or if I worked for D, this is what I would try to push into the story. Going by what my last video was implying about how time can split into multiple different trajectories once you're in the void, the choices you make can branch out. Okay, if it's not branching out because of the man in the wall, if it's branching out just because of the void itself, then that means everyone who's in the void could do this. Are you following me here? Your parents, some versions of your parents could possibly be alive somewhere in the void to this very day, if this is true. As well as there could be a bad version of you, because who could be a better enemy, a more threatening foe in anything than yourself?